Hello everyone and welcome to Sky Celestia Adventures. It's Celestia here again, and today we'll talk about the painting in Aerith's room at the Shinra building. This will not be a spoiler-free discussion, so if you have not played any of the Final Fantasy VII games, I suggest you turn back now, or else prepare for some spoilers ahead. Are you ready? Let's go. If you have played the Final Fantasy VII Remake, on Chapter 17, the scene opens up with Cloud regaining consciousness. In this room, we were apprised by Aerith that it's where she lived her childhood days prior to her life in the Sector 5 slums, and on its walls depicts a symbolic painting. Some of the drawings are obviously drawn by a kid, but for some of them, which are more detailed, I think it must be either Ifalna or little Aerith when she's in a trance. To better understand these trance moments of Aerith, I suggest you read the prequel novel by Kazushige Nojima entitled The Investigation Unit Within the Painting. It will give you more insight regarding the cloaked figures and some ideas regarding Aerith's past when she was still living in the Shinra building. Twitter user at @StanleyFF7 translated this novel in English, so I suggest you check it out. Let us now delve deeper into Aerith's painting. Please note that I will only point out the images which seems to be well drawn. First, the yellow flower. This is the most dominant picture you will see on her painting. It lies on the center and you can see its bloom facing on the right side. The flower is heavily associated with Aerith all throughout the game, and this symbolism could mean Remake Aerith. Why Remake Aerith? I will point it more later on. The circle behind the flower. This is the second image you will see on the painting. Okay, so this will be quite a long explanation. The circle behind the flower seems to be split in two shades of colors. One half of it retains the color of the wall, which is black. On the other hand, the other half has the white shade. And around it, you can see swirls of light green, which is similar to the color of the live stream. For me, this circle represents the planet. The way the shade of white was curved is how a yin-yang symbol looks like. The yin-yang came from Taoism belief, which boils down to the meaning of balance and harmonic coexistence. The meaning of yin and yang is that the universe is governed by a cosmic duality, that there are two sets of opposing and complementing principles or cosmic energies that can be observed in nature. Below are the characteristics of the yin-yang symbol according to symbolsage.com. First is, neither one is absolute, as illustrated by the single black dot on the yang side and the single white dot on the yin side. Nothing is ever completely yin or completely yang. It's like saying that not all bad intentions are evil and not all good intentions are pure. There is always that gray area, and I actually think of Sephiroth and Aerith here. Aerith wishes to fight destiny, while Sephiroth wants to preserve it, and thinks fate is absolute. Aerith believes in freedom to take hold of our destiny, which is good, but this freedom could also have its own negative implications. As of this stage, Sephiroth's purpose in the remake remains unclear. It is not static. Going back to the symbol, it was also mentioned there is a reason the yin-yang circle is not divided by a straight line. The curved spiral divide shows movement and a dynamic flow of energies, much like the way the day doesn't turn into night, but gradually flows into it. It represents the never-ending cycle of the natural order of things, like day and night or life and death. Yin and yang cannot exist without the other. Two halves make a whole, and duality is crucial to achieving equilibrium. According to Nojima in the book titled The Reunion Files, which talks about the development of the Advent Children movie, since Sephiroth exists, Aerith must exist. There's no doubt about that one. And last but not the least, yin and yang are present in all things. It is believed that opposing forces must be balanced the right way in order to achieve harmony. Yin and yang actually reminds me of the white and black materia, as well as Aerith and Sephiroth, who are complete opposites. Aerith represents the Cetra, while Sephiroth represents Genova. If the remake ends just like the original Final Fantasy game, with both Holy and Meteor battling each other out, I don't think it will be a good idea. According to an old interview of Kitase, he confirmed that the ending of Final Fantasy VII original game is a true happy ending, even if it means all the humans are destroyed. Remember Sephiroth's line in the remake?
All born are bound to her. Should this world be unmade, so too shall her children.
We might think that light should persevere and must completely wipe out the darkness, but in some beliefs, darkness is essential to the light and vice versa. Light and dark should be in harmony. It should be balanced, because a tip in the scales can cause chaos. Because this image in the painting implies that both the white and black materia should work together for the ultimate good. Third image, the red shooting star. Not too far off from the planet, you will see this red image which looks similar to a shooting star. To me, it refers to Genova as it lands towards the planet. You might be wondering, why is it red rather than purple, which is more connected or associated with Genova? In the original Final Fantasy VII, you might remember the ending cutscene after we defeat Sephiroth during that one-on-one battle with Cloud. His face was bloody, and light emits from his body as he disperses into red, swirling particles of light, which could hint the corruption of Genova cells. Fourth image, the two groups of people. In the painting, you can see two groups of people. On the lower left, you will see a cow, a herd of sheep, wheat fields, and a group of people. To me, these people are the ordinary humans. Above them, there is a rainbow, which I think could mean the heavens or higher planes of existence. And on top of that rainbow are another group of people. These people, I believe, are the Cetras. If you look closely, there are 5 of them. One pair is being shined on by the room light, and the other shrouded in darkness. The patterns on the clothes of each pair differs from the other as well. You will see 2 of them have their hands raised, and each of their partners have books. The one in the middle who dons a red cloak stands clutching what seems to be a staff. My interpretation of this is, the Cetras could be made of 2 different tribes who maintains the balance, and each of them could have been entrusted with either the white materia, while the other entrusted with the black materia. The one in red cloak could be the leader of the Cetras. Perhaps when Genova's threat was imminent, they banded together and called upon the power of both black and white materia. I don't know for sure, but I have an inkling that these materias do not only cast Holy or Meteor, but could be a key to ultimate summons. An evidence could be those Cetras with the books. They actually remind me of the summoner class in Final Fantasy XIV, whose main weapons are books. Besides, look at the direction where their hands are raised, which now brings us to the next important image. The creatures. Yes, there are 5 creatures you can see from the painting, in which 3 of them bears a materia. The first one is the serpent, which seems to encircle the planet, and holds a green orb in its mouth, which I think is a materia. I am thinking it could be Leviathan, as it is considered the guardian deity of Wutai, and summons in the remake may have far more important role than the original game. Remember Shiva's description in the remake? An ice element summon recreated in virtual reality. It is a manifestation of a queen who once healed the planet's wounds with ice, as evidenced by the existence of permafrost in the polar lands. As for Leviathan, the in-game description says, a summon in virtual reality. This entity is a tutelary dragon deity said to protect people from natural disasters. Today, most of its worshippers live in the vicinity of Wutai. The second one is the same color of the live stream and has a horn. On its body is a dark blue orb, which I think is also a materia. This reminded me of the color of the black materia as depicted in the original Final Fantasy VII, during the scene when Cloud handed the black materia to Sephiroth in the northern crater. Next creature is also similar to the color of the live stream. It looks like a dragon, and just like the second one, there is an orb attached to its chest, which is kind of bluish green in color. To me, it looks like the white materia. Now that we're done with the creatures who possess materia, we now jump to the remaining two creatures who doesn't have any materia in them. The first one is this black monster with red eyes. I don't think it is mere coincidence that the red shooting star and this dragon are drawn right next to each other. This might be more than what it seems. Black monster with red eyes, similar to the color of the falling star, which could signify Genova. Remember, those who are infected by Genova, according to Ifalna, becomes mad and eventually transforms into monsters. Very similar to those failed experiments from the Genova project, who loses their humanity and mutates into monsters. The final creature we see here is a bird with colorful tails. Below it is an orange ball akin to a ball of flames. On its wing is a yellow flower which is translucent, then the lily in the middle. What do you make of this creature? I personally think it is Phoenix. It is somehow similar to the design of the Phoenix summon from Final Fantasy VII original game. The ball of flames below it signifies the rebirthed flame, which is associated with a phoenix, while the flower on its wings is somehow similar to the flower design in Aerith's necklace and the emblem on the FF7 Remake monk, which are both from the Square Enix official merchandise. The flower on the drawing has more petals though. Nevertheless, I still think it is connected to Aerith. The translucent flower image could mean the spirit of the future Aerith who knows her demise. Remember how spirits are depicted? Transparent. Last but not the least is Cosmo Canyon. Yes, a picture of the Cosmo Canyon can be seen here too. On the upper leftmost part of the painting, you will see a picture of what seems to be a place with a huge telescope. If you have played the original game, you will very much identify that this is very similar to the Cosmo Canyon Observatory. I initially thought Bugenhagen etc., but it was confirmed he was not. What I think is, Bugenhagen might be somewhat similar to Castlevania's nomad scholars called Speakers. He might have come from a clan who preserves the knowledge about the planet. the Cetra, and the live stream. Then they pass it down from one generation to the next so as not to be forgotten. According to Final Fantasy Wiki, Cosmo Canyon is considered a pilgrimage site, and those who wish to learn more about the planet travels here. Now that we've finished delving into the painting, what do I see, or better yet, what do I think of this painting as a whole? My final thoughts are, the painting is a scene of what the remake ending will be. A final battle will ensue, but this time, the black and white materia will be needed in order to finish off what was never completed over 2,000 years ago. I think that Genova has a bigger role in the remake than in the original game. Do I believe Aerith will still die in the remake? I think so, but the symbolism of the phoenix could mean a rebirth, perhaps a rebirth for the planet. Do you guys remember the scene where both Sephiroth and Cloud stands back to back against each other while the world burns? I haven't really thought about it, but it seems like a foreshadowing of them working together. And if the world burns, maybe that's why there's an image of Leviathan in the painting around the planet. Because if you check the information of Leviathan in the remake, it is said that it is a dragon deity said to protect people from natural disasters, and Leviathan might play an important role as the world burns. Do I think Sephiroth will be redeemed? I don't think the Watashi Sephiroth will be redeemed, but the Ore Sephiroth, the one Cloud meets in the Edge of Creation, will be. I think that Ore Sephiroth will use the black materia and Cloud will be entrusted with the white materia. Both of them, Cloud and Sephiroth, will have to summon its powers to defeat what needs to be defeated. Maybe that's what Sephiroth meant on this scene.
7 seconds till the end. Time enough for you, perhaps. But what will you do with it? Let's see.
It seems he's giving Cloud 7 seconds to decide if he would join forces with him to use both materia and unleash its true powers to save the planet. Or will Cloud's hatred for Sephiroth be much stronger than his desire to save the planet? And lastly, the FF7 Remake emblem from the mug. It shows both the Buster Sword and the Masamune connected to the flower. And if you check the painting, the two summons I mentioned earlier with both the black and white materia are both connected to the flower attached on the phoenix wings, in the same way how the swords are connected to Aerith's flower. Thank you for staying with me throughout the entirety of this video. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to hit like and omni slash that subscribe button to show your support. See ya!